So, up here, another video, and my brother turned in our landlord to the city of Chicago for violations of what? Basically, he didn't pull permits for any of the work that he did on our unit, and he was moving gas lines and other things, and it didn't meet zoning, and no building inspector came by and signed off on the work. And he was using these Polish guys to do the work under the table. Not his insurance company didn't know. And the funny thing is, the insurance company never got notified, and Stephen got into, I guess, with the city, a little bit of hot water, but they never fixed the things that were out of code in my apartment. One of the blessings about being kicked out was truly the gas lines and how they were configured and everything were out of zoning, put me at jeopardy. So him kicking us out in a thing, and I don't know if there's ever been a gas leak or anything's happened since I moved out, but the whole point is, my brother did the right thing. He reported our landlord. He was the whistleblower. He called in. But the thing is, what the hell is the purpose of 311 or star 999 if they don't do anything? It's just like Jen and Mayor Daley eventually got sued for his blue bag program, where it wasn't a recycling. They were just throwing it in with the regular trash, but she paid for these bags. And so what did we do? We took action. And she took all the stuff up to Skokie. All the plastics, all the recycling material. We drive once a week to her mother's in Skokie and drop it in her mother's trash so it got properly recycled. So it went way out of the way, taking trash up to Skokie and dropping it in her mother's recycling bin so it could be properly recycled, and she stopped buying the blue bags. But she never got reimbursed for the scam. She never got her money back for the scam, and that's a scam Mayor Daley was running on the people of the city of Chicago. A fake recycling program. And Mayor Daley was running a fake recycling program. And they got sued and everything, but people should have went to jail. Running scams. So the city seems to be running scams. So, again, but that's Mayor Daley. He's a white guy. And he ran the truck for hire. And then he did sweet deals, underselling property. Oh, selling city property for a song to connected people. So it wasn't like tax incentive financing or anything, or where they struck a deal that this property wouldn't be developed and they gave them a better price on the property. So the part of it, the difference is supposed to be sunk into the development. Look at this shit. Look at this taxi cab. What a piece of shit you are. Oh, you didn't get out, flash cab me. If he gets out, I was immediately terminated from Uber because I got out of the car. But I did everything legally. The customer assaulted me and then threatened my life. Him and the other guy threatened my life numerous times. And remember, I I told you, I grew up where I was mugged as a child at gunpoint as a 5-year-old child with my father in a taxi cab. And he threatened our lives. So I don't take good to people. That's my tipping point. Threatening my life. But before, I was a powerful mother. Meaning incredibly gifted. And if you came up against me, I could F you up in a heartbeat. Without any issue. You would be going up against the wrong person, and I could end you immediately. But you think God is going to benefit you by keep on doing this to me? That I was already raised at gunpoint, and then from there, many guns to my head and many people threatening my life. But I learned to be the weapon, and I could take them out as I need it. Without hesitation. And my fights didn't go on. There was no rumble. It was you attempting to hurt me and me leveling you. Now, the only time I was hurt in a fight, besides the one time when I got bit and I had to pull the future Special Forces guy, EJ, and he did become military Special Forces, out of the place while he was biting my arm. Has anyone dragged a 200 and something pound male who's, very muscular and in shape and dragged them out while they were biting your arm? Across, I don't know, pretty much from the back bar, right at the start, let's see, I don't know, 100 feet, maybe more. And he's sinking it in and he's trying to rip the flesh out. He's biting because the only way to drag him was his teeth had to be sunken in tight. And so I dragged him out onto the cement. Why? I wanted to get him on a harder surface because it was carpet. And so when I got him on the harder surface, when I put my foot on his throat, I could snap his neck. The carpet gave. I wasn't doing it because I was an idiot. I was dragging him so I could kill him. Make no mistake about that. And I told you, I put the foot on his throat and I was about to snap his neck. And I told him, either you take the teeth out of my arm or it's going to be the end of you now. So it isn't like somebody biting you and then moving on or biting a little bit of your ear. He was like Tyson did to Evander Holyfield. He was trying to bite my whole forearm off. Well, not the whole underside of my forearm. And he was trying to tear through it with his teeth. And thank God I had all the muscle tissue. But the thing is, I didn't get any checks for any type of infectious diseases. Dirtbags, Gary didn't send me to the hospital to get my bite checked out. Mark and Gary who set me up and fired me. That Mark and Gary who set me up and wrongfully terminated me. But did Gary send me to the hospital? Nope. Did he file a workman's comp incident? Nope. Did he do anything for me? Nope. Nothing. They did nothing. And I still live with that trauma. So, again, but even after stuff like that, and all I did for them, they terminated me wrongfully. And this is what God watches. It's like Nick. All the things that I stood up for him that he doesn't know about, that other people were wronging him and his daughter, and I was doing the right things by them, and they terminate me. All these things and all these people, all these employers wrongfully me. That I put sometimes, many times, my life on the line for them, and they wrongfully fire me and wrongfully terminate me. It's like Senator McCain. You say incident, I put my life on the line for that guy. Our office got regular bomb threats. I knew about it. So did Darren go in and that. But truly, we put our life on the line for him, for the U.S. government. And what does the government do to me? What do senators and all that do to me? Treat me like shit. But I put my life on the line to help the U.S. government, to work with the constituents, to help people that had injustice done, to get justice, and we got regular bomb threats. One day we had to clear the office for a bomb threat, but many other times we didn't. So it wasn't just one bomb threat, but what was the FBI doing? Nothing. And why wasn't she telling the FBI that we were getting different bomb threats? And when they cleared the office and we went over and had things to eat, but they had to empty the whole building and bring in bomb-sniffing dogs. And they had to search the building from top to bottom, and it was a we weren't a standalone. We were at the ground floor of a, 8-story or so, 10-story building, all offices, and they had to empty the whole building and then bring in the bomb-sniffing dogs and address the issue. But you say I didn't put my life on the line for the U.S. government, and you say I didn't put my life on the line to help constituents with their issues. What do you mean? One lady sent me her husband's ashes from the military, and I solved their pension problem with the U.S. military, and I did send back her husband's ashes. But I solved the pension issue. She got the pension. She was right. The military is wrong. But she was so upset, she sent her husband's ashes after he got cremated to our office. And I saw the ashes and asked Rosemary, what are we going to do with these? And she's like, well, we're going to send them back. And I sent them back and I took care of her issues. But she was so disgusted with the government not addressing the issue that she sent her husband's dead ashes. So, I don't get it. I put my life on the line for this country over and over and over and over again. So don't tell me that I haven't put my life on the line for this country. To stand up for the rule of law, to do the right thing. And I get treated like fucking garbage. And I live a life that is total shit. So, The country hasn't done for me, but I've done for the country since I've been a child. And it's a bunch of BS. So, I don't get it. How many of these people here have worked under perpetual bomb threat? Because we worked under perpetual bomb threat. They came in every so often, threatening to blow us up. So, how many of these people have had guns to their head repeatedly since childhood? Did they raise like, Dexter grew up and his mother had that horrible incident? Raised in blood? But truly, I don't get it. I mean, I just, it's unbelievable. And somehow I get treated like garbage. So I don't get it. I sacrificed so much for this country and didn't let these things deter me from serving my country, doing my job, serving the people I worked for, but all of them screwed me. It's unbelievable. It's like Patrick Henry. I did great things for that school. I helped out at Wilmot Junior High and did really good things for that school. And the same with Deerfield, the University of Arizona, Benedictine College. For the college. For these institutions. And what do I get but terrorized and disrespected? And everybody else gets the good life. And I get more disease, more pain, more misery, more suffering. And I don't get it. And then I should be tortured. I should be deprived. I should have everybody cut me out from being a friend. I should be in isolation. I mean, if anyone deserves to have a great life, I deserve. But it seems like you make up everything to make my life miserable, where I deserve to have an exceptional life. People threaten me unbelievably. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I power through it, and I do the right thing all the time. And these motherfuckers, they break under a little bit of pressure. Like Stephen King. I talk about him, but take Stephen King with those thoughts and then put Stephen King into immense poverty and life-threatening situations. And let's see how his psyche plays out then. The only thing, it's like in Dexter, and I told you this, Dexter says it's for you and Mom that I don't do this, that I don't kill people, because I know both of you wouldn't approve, and I love you. It's called goodwill. As God so loved me, he spares the world. But I won't be here for long. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with the world after I go. When there is no more halo effect. So, I don't get it. just keep on acting like it's all acceptable. The evil you do to me, you somehow justify. And these people don't grow up in shit. And their sacrifices aren't shit. And they treat me unbelievably, disgustingly. And somehow that's all acceptable. So I want the Chicago police to get a 200-pound guy, another police officer, to bite the motherfucking shit out of each officer's arm and let me have them drag them hundreds of feet. And let's see how they react. After the release of the bite, during the bite, or let's stick their fingers in the door and crush them. And let's see how they react to getting their fingers crushed and their after reaction and what they do. Because this is what God watched with me. So, these people you say deserve such goodness, and I deserve such disgrace and filth and dishonor. It's unbelievable. But Chris Kyle, as I said, the VA sold him out, set him up, fucked him over. They sent the guy to him that killed him. So I don't have much respect for the Veterans Administration and their capabilities and their judgment. You know, the shit that goes on is unbelievably disgusting. And they just let everything go. And I've complained, but you do nothing. You just allow these people to be the filth they are instead of crushing them the way they deserve to be. Yeah. Where was Elon Musk? And we're looking at the RTA. Remember they said they were going to make this tunnel and do the Hyperloop from City of Chicago to Midway Airport? That project never went through, did it? The Hyperloop. And I watch all this smoke and mirrors. And I sit and suffer. All these failed promises that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and nothing gets done. So I remember the Hyperloop. And I just see the same old shitty RTA. And I see these people flying on the highway, fear nothing. Truly, look at this. They fear nothing. There's no ramifications to their actions. Here, let's get off at Foster and go over to the tollway. So, all I see is no fear as you beat on me constantly, and you've shown me there's no fear of any ramifications for your negativity to me. That it's all okay. That you can just get away with it And you literally torture me every single day with your disgust and filth. And it's all okay. Not really. So I don't get it. And you think the Veterans Association would be incredibly ashamed of itself for its track record, how it mistreated veterans all those years, not getting the best and the brightest, not paying the government, meaning paying for the greatest people to work in the VA hospital, making sure their wages compete with Johns Hopkins or any institution, that they're looking for the best of the best and only the best of the best. You think that you would think they would repent from the great shame of their failures, and they would atone for their sin. So I don't get it. And if I was Mrs. Kyle, I would be suing both, forcing change. Because that person should have never been knocking on her door to go out shooting with her husband. They failed to vet him correctly. Not so good, is it? So again, I wonder what they're doing to correct this stuff. And remember, as it shows in the film, they convinced Chris Kyle to put the program together that killed him. So they are the responsible party for his death, for his wrongful death. So they delivered the murderer right to his door. So anyways, the failing of our military intelligence with Pat. I mean, I watched the Vietnam over and over again, and I watch our military intelligence, and I watch all these things from World War II and all of that, and I watch these incredible intelligence failures by the CIA and many others. Unbelievable blunders in their gathering and proofing. And I watch these things like Zero Dark 30. And the unteam it is, they show, I mean, it looks like a bunch of pieces of garbage. No cooperation, not working together, not vetting things correctly, and everybody with an ego competing against each other. Because everybody wants to take praise. What a bunch of freaking bullshit. Where is the teamwork? Where is the camaraderie? Where is it working together like a fine-oiled machine? Precision. Where is that happening? Because all these true stories, like the lone survivor and all that, these are all military blunders. These are all intelligent blunders. These show great disgrace, great incapability, great failure. So it's ridiculous. The cartels getting across Border Patrol and everything else, the DEA, that's all great shame. And then going back to Florida, where the first time they had the DEA, the FBI, the Dade County Sheriff all working together to roll drug dealers. I mean, I read it and I couldn't believe it. Local police and federal agencies working together to fleece drug dealers. So go pick up the story. You can get it in the archives and read about it. I read these things. I read about these failures in ethics and morals. Unbelievable. Like the senator who is approaching people in the public bathrooms for sexual favors. I mean, do they remember all this stuff? Because they should be logging it in the Senate and House Ethics Committee, all that. And every year they should go over all the different violations that has happened throughout history. And how they did and what they should, reminding them what they should be looking for. Reminding them that we can't have a repeat. That's what the Holocaust Museum is about, really, is to keep us attentive, to remind us never again. But some reason, you don't want to move with that solution. But Germany wants that solution. Japan wants that solution. They don't want to be in a world war again. They want never again. You think after all the wars the United States has fought in, and I am a big advocate for the military, but why would they want global war? After all we've been through, the Civil War and 1.2 million Americans getting slaughtered, and then the Spanish-American War after that. And then we move into, the Indian War that was going on at that time too. We had the Civil War, but make no mistake about it, we were still fighting the war with the Native Americans as well. That wasn't done. That was going on the West while we were fighting the Civil War. Lincoln was battling with multiple wars, domestic wars, and then tension overseas, truly issues. And so Lincoln had a lot going on. You forget about, everybody talks about the Civil War like it was in a vacuum. It wasn't in a vacuum. We were having Indian wars that were raging in the West. The Civil War was in the South. He was also fighting the Indian wars in the West simultaneously. So Lincoln was dealing with a lot. But you think all those people, and thousands, tens of thousands, that died in the Native American, whites and Native Americans getting slaughtered, tens of thousands of them. I don't know exactly how many, got to look it up. But add that on to the Civil War and this constant shitstorm, and somehow you want it to continue. And then we move into these other multi-clashes and these global wars, and somehow you want it to continue. You're for that. You're for the hostilities. You're for the tension. I gave you solutions from using temporary services and labor services, for moving around people that have countries that have high rates of employment as temporary labor into other countries to build projects. That countries that have more shortages and then looking for it based on skill base and moving where they have an abundance of one skill or the lack of another skill and moving people in and out. All this still needs to be done, filling the gap as they work on adjusting their systems. But again, there'll be too many and too few all the time. It'll be within a tighter range. But instead of trying to solve these things, make the world a better place, you want to keep on slaughtering people. And I used to read these pieces that they said, well, war was necessary, so it was a way of population control. So when population gets too much, humans just kill each other, and then we can get population control. Well, I was doing everything where we didn't have to do that adage, where it's okay, we can just slaughter each other, and it's a form of human population control. But not only do we slaughter each other, we destroy the environment, we destroy all the wildlife, we destroy all the botany, all the plants, all the agriculture, we destroy the atmosphere, we destroy everything as we go about trying to destroy each other. And so I write things to create harmony, but no, we can't do that and have some peace in the world, true global peace where there's no wars going on. Why can't that be a possibility? And we need that for a long period of time to clean up all the freaking filth, all the destruction, all the nastiness you've done. We need to clean up the gangs in countries. We're so busy fighting wars that we allowed the cartels to come in the 70s because we were in Vietnam and before that Korea, and we allow gangs, truly biker gangs, the Hells Angels and all of them to build in domestically because our focus was fighting all these wars all over the world. And so we allowed the Italian mafia to grow, the Russian mafia to grow. So we were fighting domestic and external terrorism. So I'm trying to quiet it down outside of us so domestically we can wipe out all the evil. It's not like we shouldn't be vigilant internationally, and we do. I believe in a strong military. I believe in the 80 countries and 750 and the 11 carrier task force and all that. I believe in all of that. But I believe in blitzkrieg. When we take action, it solves the problem. It doesn't create another problem. It eliminates that problem. Not a knock-on effect where you get ISIS-K. You wipe out ISIS, you wipe out Al-Qaeda, you wipe out the Taliban, you wipe out the Khmer Rouge, you wipe them all out. Operation Clean Sweep. That's what Noah was. Operation Clean Sweep. And we have the Australian military and so many others that can take it to them simultaneously, globally. We have more than enough capability and ability to coordinate. That's the point of NATO, the North American Treaty Organization, and that. But that's just one part of it. So we can operate Operation Clean Sweep and wipe out all the terrorist cells simultaneously. So they have nowhere to run. You ever watch the FBI do that? I watched the Tucson Police Department do it. with their pawn shop set up. They busted 200 and something burglars. I think 216, maybe, I don't remember. But they should have never shut it down. But they did. In a single day, the Tucson police raided hundreds of places, busting people simultaneously. Do you know what that did to crime in Tucson? It literally disappeared. They wiped out so many people in a single sting that it was incredible. I applaud the Tucson Police Department and its ingenuity and how they operated it and how they were able to operate this fencing operation for criminals. And they fenced all their merchandise there. And they tracked it all, marked it back, and built the cases working with the prosecutor and watched those individuals. And then one day, they went out all over Tucson and arrested them all. Hundreds and hundreds of people simultaneously gone. Where is that happening in other cities? And I watched them in Tucson do the cigarette scheme. Go out and check the merchants by going and bringing a young child who had no ID. He would just go into the 7-Elevens and ask, can I get some cigarettes? And they say, how old are you? And he say, 18. And they're like, well, you're too young. He's like, come on, I got some money. I want to buy some cigarettes. And that's it. That's it. He didn't press past that. He said, come on, I got some money. And they went around to all the merchants selling cigarettes in Tucson. Oh, yeah, all the merchants. And then once they were done, the ones that sold the cigarettes, they went back and arrested them and fined them. Again, very good police work. They used a true minor.